Very good morning to you and welcome back to your world on this beautiful Thursday morning. We had a conversation from the theaters and we're talking about love and art, but I told you in the next hour we're going to be talking about trees, and the topic is safeguarding forests, securing Kenya's future and a path to a greener Kenya. Now, question, when was the last time you planted a tree? How much do you think trees are worth to our life? You know, beyond the beauty and the shade that they give us, did you know that they also, they protect our water resources? They fight climate change. They help our air, like hewa tu ya kawaida. They do all of that. And today we're exploring what the forests in Kenya look like, what the trees look like, what status are we at as a country, and beyond that. And joining me to have this conversation is who you need for this conversation, absolutely, because these people are leading the charge to protect, restore, and grow our forests. And I will start introducing them from my immediate left. We have the Regional Director, Africa, FSC International, Dr. Peter Alele. Welcome to the show. Lovely to have you. Right next to Dr. Peter, we have Dr. Clement Ngoriareng, Principal Senior Deputy Chief Conservator of Forest, KFS, that is the Kenya Forest Service. Lovely to have you on the show. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we have forestry expert, Dr. Harrison Kojwang. And I know these titles be big, but I'd like for us to probably just break them down for anyone who's tuning in and wondering, what are these things? Maybe for the kawaida mwananchi, and we'll start with you, Dr. Peter, Regional Director, FSC International. What does that do?
Thank you. And good morning, viewers. My work at the FSC started about 3.5 years ago in an organization called the Forest Stewardship Council, which is a global institution that basically works for forest sustainability.
Yeah.
Forest sustainability in terms of the production of forest, but also the sustainable use of forest products. Mm-hmm. We are headquartered in Germany, but basically are leading this movement around the world to ensure that we have forests today, but we also have it for future generations. And to do that, given the current trend in populations and consumption of forest products, we just try to ensure, especially on the consumption side, that we don't deplete what we have, which is very important here in Africa because forest resources are really very essential for our survival.
Yeah.
The many benefits you've talked about, but also the fact that a lot of our communities and indigenous people rely significantly on forest resources for their livelihoods and for their well-being.
Okay.
And that's the same here in Kenya. I think a lot of our soils, a lot of our food, a lot of our medicines, a lot of our income come from forest resources, and that's essential. So we are headquartered here in Nairobi, in Africa, where we have the regional office, and we are trying to scale out this extremely important work throughout the continent, but from here in Nairobi.
Okay. I think it's exciting times to have these conversations happening, to even know and understand where we are at, because sometimes we go for years without even planting a tree or even taking care of one. But Dr. Clement, maybe the question would be, as a conservator of forests, what is the status of the current situation in the country right now when you talk about trees? Because this is your forte.
Thank you so much. I can say that the current status of forestry in the country is actually well improved compared to possibly some 5 or 10 years ago, where there was a lot of degradation of our forests, some deforestation and illegal activities that were actually reducing our forest cover. But currently, I can confidently say, as one of the officers working for Kenya Forest Service, the agency that is mandated to actually lead issues of forest growing in the country, that we are improved in terms of forest cover. You just simply look at our forest cover at the moment. Our forest cover at the moment, it has moved up from some 6 to 7% 10 years ago. Now we are moving closer to 10%, which is the minimum internationally accepted forest cover in the country. In terms of tree cover, we have surpassed the 10%. So we are 12.3%. So I can say that we have made big strides as a country to see our forest cover improving, especially when now there is a passionate target that is highly led by the government of the day, the 15 billion tree growing.
And I'd like to get into that in just a bit to just understand when you break it down, what does it look like? And I'm happy that we have great strides as a country. I mean, it's something to be really proud of, considering where we've come from as a country where trees were just being cut anyhow. Dr. Harrison, forestry expert. What does that mean and what does that do? What do you do?
Well, no, thanks. Well, first of all, I have a background in academia, so I used to teach forestry in Kenya. And then I've worked in the civil service of Namibia at some point and joined the Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF, in Southern Africa. And then over the last 6 years, I've worked at the Forest Stewardship Council. So I have traversed, all those, should I say, states in the forest management space. In Kenya and, should I say, in most of Africa, because of the portfolios I've held over the time. Now, I think that Kenya is in the right place in the sense that it has raised the national level of consciousness to increase forest cover. And I say this because about 25, 30 years ago, there's a huge shortage of power in this country. There are lots of power blackouts. And at that point, I think the country recognized that forest cover was very important for conserving water and releasing it slowly down to the streams, so that during the dry season, you'll still have some water dripping into the dams and getting
electricity.
And I think out of that, we had the evolution of the Kenya Water Towers project, because it recognized the important water catchment areas in the country that required to be conserved or managed sustainably and protected from degradation. Because we have these multiple benefits of water for agriculture, water for domestic use, and more importantly, water for power generation. We depend so much on power today more than anything else. So you can imagine that as the population increases, as more population pressure increases, we need to conserve our forests because there's a tendency to convert forest cover into something else. So what Dr. Sangoriareng has expressed is extremely important to the country's development context. So when you plant a tree or when you conserve a forest ecosystem, you are actually doing several things at the same time. You're cleaning the air, you're conserving water, you're conserving soil, and you're also creating habitats for wildlife, which is Kenya's mainstay, economically speaking. So you find that forest resources or tree resources have a lot of multiple benefits to the country, to the extent that it should be a national priority in terms of its management. And I've spent 30 years of my life preaching and practicing that.
We need to borrow a leaf from that. But when you talk about sustainable forest management, Dr. Peter Alele, what are we talking about? What does it mean when you break it down for someone to just understand, instead of just it being a huge word? What does it mean? Because we just plant trees and we move on. It's a holiday. Government has given us a day to just go plant trees, and that's it. We never go back. We don't know what happened. We were just told to just do that. But then just to educate and have more of these conversations to understand, what does this terminology mean?
Sustaining forest resources is explain that in two ways. The first one, of course, is making sure that the benefits we get from the forest are not depleted over time. We utilize it and continue deriving those benefits over extended period of time or without depleting it. But specifically, when we talk about sustainability, we also break it down into three major categories. We talk about social sustainability, the human dimension of that. How do the communities and the people, the workers there, do you comply with international labor laws when you employ your people there? Do you do no harm to people that benefit or rely on these forest resources? That's the first one. The second one, of course, is the business, the economic sustainability. And a lot of our forests have an economic dimension to it, which is very, very important. It's the livelihoods, the income, doing it as a business that is a critical incentive for continuing to do it. And then the third one, of course, is the environmental sustainability. All of the biodiversity that is within the forest, the species, the animals, the wildlife that rely on this ecosystem. It's essential for us to think about them when we manage a forest. A lot of us, when we cut down a tree, we don't think a little bit about some of the habitat that tree or that forest is providing to the bird species, to the insects, to even the plants that are in this ecosystem. And so sustaining all of that is critical, because forests play a whole scope of roles in our lives, basically.
That's so true. Dr. Muriareng, you mentioned 15 billion trees by 2032.
Yes.
What does that look like, and where are we at? Probably the drive behind that. We used to have the day offs to just go and do that. But what other activities are there to just help drive us as a country to get to 15 billion? Tumefanya 1 billion at least. Tumepita 1 billion.
Thank you. I just wanted to pick it from where Dr. Alele has explained on sustainable forest management.
Okay.
Just to put it simply, that the benefits that we are deriving from the forests, be they social or environmental, like Dr. Kojoang has said, those benefits are not going to end with us. It should be sustained, even to meet the needs of the future generations. So we are just not going to deplete it now, but make sure that we are thinking about the future generation. And this was actually the driving force even behind the 15 billion tree growing campaign. We don't want to benefit from the forests just as alone now. We also want to think about the future generation.
Yes.
We are supposed to attain 30% tree cover by 2030. And that is, those are statistics that are even available within the UN. They will tell you 30 by 30. That is 30%. and in Kenya, we are now slightly above 10, so 12%.
Yes.
And therefore, we want to attain 30%. So that is how the mathematics was arrived at for 15 billion. And this one translates into restoring 10.6 million hectares, for those 10 years.
Yes.
And we have a number of strategies that we have put in place, right from the arid and semi-arid areas, because that is where we have the greatest potential. How can we restore those degraded areas in the arid and semi-arid areas, all the way to the high potential areas in our forests? The strategy has around 11 intervention areas. Touching on the rangelands, midway, farms, all the way to the forests, wherever there is some room.
Yes.
And I want to say that Yes, this is now, we are now in the second year, and we are supposed to be doing 1.5 billion trees per year. So it is expected that by now we should be crossing 3 billion trees target. But I want to report that we are just slightly above 1 billion. 1 billion and 78, to be exact, million trees. And this is expected. Normally, the first 1 or 2 years is spent in laying down ground and making sure that the necessary and requisite processes are in place. Like now, making sure that we have the nursery infrastructure, seedling production, even preparing where we are supposed to grow. But we will assure you that moving forward, we will be able to cover the ground and we will be able to reach that 15 billion by 2030, because we are asking every Kenyan now to make sure that they do 300 trees per year. Okay. 30 trees per year. That translates to 300. And times 50 million people, it comes to 15 billion trees. That is how the mathematics was arrived at. And as of now, a lot of awareness has actually gone out.
That is true.
People are now very aware, and they have known the strategies. The presidency is there passionately pushing it and also working together with all the institutions. The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry is actually doing a lot in making sure that sensitization is actually carried out everywhere. Very soon, we will be celebrating the International Day of Forests. And that is another platform that we are going to encourage people to do tree growing. So the ground is now set for us to cover the ground.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And just to understand where we plant these trees, does it matter? Or do I just plant in my village? Are there specific places, or is there drive towards certain parts of this country?
Like I said, we identified areas of degradation.
Okay.
There was a study that was done 2016 using what is called restoration opportunities assessment methodology, which identified areas potential for tree growing. And they have been identified in all the landscapes. Okay, that's why I'm talking about the arid and semi-arid areas.
Yes.
Talking about the farmlands, talking about the water catchment areas or the forests, the wetlands, institutions, along infrastructure. So we have places for restoration. Even in forests, there are still areas which have not been completely restored. And therefore, we have those areas that we can grow the trees. And that is why we encourage the citizens to get in touch with the forest service staff wherever they are in the counties. We also have our sister agency, Carefree, which is also able to provide the technical support and the right species that we need to plant. So we have also made sure that the correct species have been identified and set aside that can survive well in various climatic conditions. So you visit our offices wherever you are, whichever county, and you can be guided on where to grow these trees. And if you are a farmer, your farm, of course, we want 30% of your land to be under trees so that cumulatively we will be able to attain our 30%.
It's interesting when you talk about trees. We had a conversation about indigenous crops just this week. And it was very interesting to figure that most of the crops and specifically vegetables that were ignored because they were old-fashioned and everything could actually just resist climate change over time.
Yes.
And now we are going back to that conversation to just make sure that we are going back to eating them because they're good for us and they can withstand climate change. So this goes hand in hand with that. Yes. And just before we go on a break, Dr. Kojuang, Namibia, South Africa, Kenya, when you compare these three regions and now that we are home, what can we do or what practices are being done elsewhere that we could probably borrow from to just ensure that we attain the targets that we've set for ourselves as a country?
Thanks for that question. I think, first of all, I would start by saying that Kenya is a much more well-educated country on average than most of the countries that I've traveled in. So we have the technical expertise to do what is right. And based on what Dr. Ngorering has explained, the structures and institutions they've put in place to maintain trees, I think one thing that could be improved is strengthening in an evolved system, local communities to be incentivized to take up not only planting trees, but caring for them.
Caring for them, yes.
For them. So the culture of caring, the culture of planting and using trees deliberately for their multiple purposes is important. So I think we should use the devolved system of governance to incentivize local communities. Even the county administrations should actually be incentivized and actually rewarded for excellence. So if we could have an award system for the various counties of this country, they could be competing on the basis of their environmental credentials, or what they're doing in planting trees, what they're doing in caring for water catchments, what they're doing in increasing tree cover in farms and so on. So I think that we should go down to that grassroots level, and I think Kenya will do well, because at the middle and the top policy making, I think we've got all the right conditions for this. So that's what I would say, that Southern Africa has stronger what they call community-based natural resources movements. And it's much stronger in Southern Africa than here, especially in the wildlife and even forestry sectors. That's the only thing I could say.
Okay. Yeah, so we've got something to do there. Yeah. We're due on a break. When we come back, I'd just like to find out technology and forests and trees. Where are we with that? Because we cannot ignore the fact that technology is here and it's making everything else easier and better. How are we using that then to help us attain a full tree-full country by 2032? We'll be coming right back with that conversation after this break. Don't go too far. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The conversation around trees is continuing during the break right here. And it was a beautiful one, just to know that I'm not the only one who enjoys Karura because of the beautiful trees in there and how it gives you sanity, and smelling those eucalyptus can just help you reset. So more reason why we need to plant trees. But beyond biodiversity, trees, what else do we need to do to just ensure that we take care of trees, that we take care of the communities around trees, and that they gain from that as well?
Thank you. That's actually a good question. What else do we need to do? I think the biggest thing that we have to do is ensure that we appreciate the value of trees. And you've just highlighted the Karura incident issue.
Yes.
A lot of people don't see the value of a forest other than as a source of quick money or quick, something to be cut down to put infrastructure or something like that. And I think we have talked about awareness, but I think there's an education aspect of that is essential for us to appreciate that, yes, this tree is actually valuable. I mean, we are consuming trees significantly in this country. I recently visited one of our FSC certificate holders that is making labels. And the labels you find on the, your soft drinks and your groceries and so on.
Yes.
If you visited one of the manufacturers of labels in Nairobi, you'd be amazed at how much paper is being used daily to produce those labels. And you stand there and basically visualize how many trees are going down to produce these labels. And so we don't see this, we just simply get your bottle of drink and see the label, and you don't imagine how many bottles are being consumed, how many coffee cups, paper cups are being used in Nairobi on a daily basis. So just that appreciation is fantastic for the public. But there are other interesting, things, again, to the Karura story.
Yes.
When we grow up as Africans, there are certain uses we attach to forests. Our cultural, practices and, where we spend our time, where we graze our livestock, and some of these uses of the forest that are kind of, I would say, not tangible, but soft uses.
Yes.
Is how I put it. Use of the forest is very, very critical to our survival.
Yeah.
Our sanity, as you put it.
That is so true.
Our livelihoods, our well-being,
yeah,
attached to these ecosystems is very, very important. And when you take them away, it would be interesting to measure the impact of taking a forest away from indigenous or local communities, just on that front, leave alone the livelihoods, the income, grazing lands and so on, but just on your mental status. It would be interesting to measure that. But I think that's the kind of awareness and appreciation that we have to rise amongst our people to appreciate this and want to protect it more, to define your choices so that when you go to the supermarket, you look at a label of a product and say, if I consume this product the way it is, I am contributing to degradation of a forest. And so perhaps it's essential for me to choose products that are produced sustainably, that have the FSC level. It means that you have not destroyed forests, you have not degraded lands, you have not hurt people, and so on. It's a sustainable product that adheres to all of the strict standards for sustainability. If you appreciate that enough, you will begin to choose wisely when you consume these products, because actually our choices do influence destruction of some of these ecosystems. And I think a lot of the northern hemisphere, the Western countries have come to that place. We still have quite a place, a distance to go before we get to that place. We have to transform this business culture around Africa for people to begin to choose, make choices that don't result in destruction of our ecosystems, our forest ecosystems.
Okay. Yeah. And you mentioned cutting trees, and we're using these trees to make paper and all of that. And Dr. Ngorioreng, I'd like to find out, what are the laws around this? Do we cut one, plant two? I remember we were being told that growing up, ukikata moja, panda ingine mbili. Is that still there? What laws are there when it comes to cutting down trees and planting others?
Thank you. Yeah, like he said, we should also derive benefits from these trees that we have grown.
Yeah.
Yes, we used to have cut one and plant two.
Yes.
It came to now plant 10 when we were targeting to achieve 10% tree cover.
Yeah.
That was around 2018 downwards to 2022. We were striving to move our tree cover to 10%.
Okay.
So the issue was not only 2, but are you able to put 10% of your land under trees?
Oof. So it becomes a hefty.
Yes, it has moved up.
Yes.
So even if you have your 1/8, you must have a 3 or 2, 10% of the trees that are required there.
Yeah.
Now we have moved. We are talking of 30%.
Yeah.
So it is not only 2.
Yes.
We want 30%. So that is actually a policy guidance. And we, like I said, we simplified and said, if you are able to do 30 trees per year, so that we can be able to achieve the 30% tree cover. So those are the policies. And this is provided for. I already mentioned that now we are having a policy-driven tree growing system at the moment. You can see the government is fully in it. That we have to achieve the 30%. So the policies are there. Forest conservation and management agreement, just to supplement what Dr. Alele has said, provides for involvement of the communities that live around the forest to not only just watch and see this forest, but also derive benefits out of it. So PFMP provides for the development of a participatory forest management plan. The communities are actively engaged so that they can derive benefits from it. So as much as they derive benefits from the forest, they also need to grow theirs on their farm. So this one becomes like a model for them to learn from and establish their plantations out there. So even as we grow these trees, we also need to utilize them. Dr. Kojuang here will tell you, he taught us a lesson called not romanticizing the forest. I mean, something just to observe and not utilize.
Former teacher.
You have to make sure that you grow these trees and derive benefit out of it. Yeah, so there are policies there, providing for involving the community, providing for also engaging the county governments. He mentioned about it. We shared responsibilities in forestry. So any tree growing on farms, that one we took it to the counties so that we remained with the gazetted public forests. Those 2.6 million hectares, those are the ones that we manage at the national level and at the counties. So we have officers at the counties to manage those forests that are available in the counties, but also provide technical support to the county governments to be able to implement the functions that were devolved to them. And this has actually helped so much because now the county is very close to the people and enforcing those policies. So issues of riverine, making sure that no degradation of the riverine environment, making sure that your land is under 30%, those policies are there. Farm forestry rules are also there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now I understand the joke that happened during the break between Dr. Ngurioreng and Dr. Kojuang. This is literal teacher-student.
Yes. It's turned out to be one of
You must be very proud.
No, I'm used to it. Every time I go in any of these offices, he's just meeting his
students.
And, it's so uplifting.
A lot of students.
He has turned out to be one of my star students, and I'm very proud.
Thank you.
Okay. That was interesting to experience. I don't know if there's pressure there, lecturer makeup, but no pressure at all.
No.
Okay. But let's talk about technology.
Yeah.
And, I found out, the very first time I found out that you could watch elephants from all projector, from wherever it is that you are in the world, that they have all these amazing digital tools. And everybody from wherever in the world knows that at 6 a.m., the elephants will just use the same road every single day. That we have such tools to also keep track of the trees.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That technology is amazing. Maybe you can just break it down for us a bit.
Yes, absolutely. I think modern technology has made it a lot easier. You can have some satellite technology where you can actually send beams to the forest and measure the heights of trees just remotely. And you can estimate the amount of carbon in that forest by remote means. It's a lot easier for visual effects to have some kind of a camera eye on the path of elephants and stream it all over the world at the same time. So right now, there's a lot of discussion on how you can actually monitor illegal activities in the forest using remote technology.
Yes.
And of course, this has been used for quite a long time in wildlife science, where they put cameras that are triggered when an animal passes, snaps, and so on. And it's now creeping into forest management. You have organizations like Global Forest Watch. They can scan around the world and show where there are fires, where there are illegal activities, where the forest cover is being reduced, and so on.
Yes.
But more importantly, from a socioeconomic perspective, you'll be surprised how many products come from a tree. there are at least 20 useful, they call them bioproducts because they are coming from a biological entity like a forest or a tree.
Yes.
A lot of people do not realize that viscose, the textile material, is from wood. And right now there's a company in South Africa that is producing globally viscose for the textile industry.
Yeah.
From bamboo, from grass and so on, even the bamboo we have in Kenya. So coming back to that, I think Kenya is not as forest rich as DRC, for example. But Kenya, I think, has the potential to use technology to produce value-added products from the resources we have. So when you look at some of the research that has been done to show all these biomaterials which can be marketed, Kenya stands a very good chance because it's very investing conscious, should I say that?
Yeah.
And I think we have the wherewithal to harness technology to add value to the resources we have and make something out of them. And I can see that the bamboo movement coming up and so on and so forth. So technologically speaking, we have really gone a long way. And right now, there are a lot of donors who will tell you, okay, this community planted a tree. Can you show us the coordinates? They'll zoom in using a remote camera to see whether the trees were really planted.
Yes.
So the technology has really advanced, and I think we can just put it to practical use for the benefit of Kenyans. And I think this country can do a lot more with the technology and the fact that it's an investor-friendly, environment where we can innovate and make a lot more valuable products out of our resources.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Dr. Ngageng, please, I was going to go to you immediately after that, but yes.
Allow me to confirm that we have adopted technology in forest management.
Okay.
Next time you are in Karura, just walk around and we will show you an office with a system that you can now be able to detect fire outbreak anywhere in the country just while you are seated on the desk. So we have just finished installing those cameras and they can be able to detect any smoke in the forest anywhere while seated in Karura. So we have a fire detection technology in Kenya Forest Service Karura. And now this has reduced issues of fire outbreak in our forests. Now immediately we detect any fire outbreak apart from illegality, because we also have another system, because in Karura we also have a state-of-the-art forest information system that now is able to map everywhere in the country. And we have one platform called Forest Alert 123. So officers can report any illegal activity in the field and they relate to the headquarters for response. So alongside detection, we now have aerial systems for responding. We have a fixed wing.
Yeah.
We have a chopper, which of course we have the vehicles in the field and the entire team of the forest protection. So once it is detected, the fixed wing will quickly move around, or the chopper, and we can be able to respond very, very quickly. We also use drones. In Kenya Forest Service to monitor degradation and also enhance issues of restoration. So technology is the way to go, and we have adopted that as Kenya Forest Service. And we're looking forward to now making sure that we move up. Like he talked about the issues of even product processing technology, not using the old system of the source, the power source. Now we are moving to bioproduct and efficient technologies. Yeah,
actually, I'm proud of my country.
So next time you are in Karura, we will show you what is happening.
Because we leave sometimes without knowing that these things are happening.
Yes.
And until you ask the right questions, until you show up at these places, then you do not know at all. So it's a proud moment right here.
Thank you.
There's a huge congress happening in the country for the very first time called Zamba. Please, maybe you can just break it down and tell us why it's such a big deal for Kenyans to get involved and be part of that.
The Zamba Heritage Initiative is something that we innovated recently. The word Zamba means forest or untamed wilderness, to be more specific. It's a Lingala word.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask, what language is that? Okay.
Yeah. So basically it's us getting together and say, let's be ambitious, let's take some risks, let's think big, and try to not only protect and restore forests, but, and this has come out very strongly with the countries that we have been able to engage, including here in Kenya. Let's attract more investment in the forest sector. Forests should not be about, let's protect the biodiversity for protection's sake.
Yeah.
But how do we improve the livelihoods of the people that depend on the forest as well, so that we incentivize.
Yeah.
We don't incentivize destruction of forests or unsustainable use of forests. And so what we are doing here in Nairobi, the first launch is happening next week, 10th, 12th of February, where we have confirmed participation of at least 11, 12 countries now, with 6 ministers of environment coming from various countries, Congo Basin and Southern Africa, being hosted here in Nairobi. What we are coming to do is basically to mobilize commitment from the countries, but commitment from investment partners, development partners, towards driving this movement of scaling out sustainable forest management on the continent. Scaling out restoration on the continent, but also scaling out direct investment into the forest sector. And I think it's essential because we see investment mostly, traditionally, as putting up factories and manufacturing to create jobs and so on. But the forest sector has potential to produce, to provide a lot of employment opportunities to our people. And we think that this is the way to go. Additionally, research is showing that due to the vast amount of fires you see in the news from Canada, North America, and Northern Hemisphere, we are going to hit a huge deficit in about 20 years in timber and forest products. And the hope of the future is in the tropical countries, mostly in Africa. And so we have opportunity to invest now in what KFS is doing, is expanding forest production in our countries. And I think we have the lands. The recent movement around Africa Forest Landscape Restoration has identified specific areas for restoration. There's technology, there's opportunity, there's political will. And I think that's what we are mobilizing. We are mobilizing all of this to drive this agenda and ensure that we mobilize that commitment from our partners as much as possible. And I just want to say that, again, traditionally we have relied on donors, give us money and so on. But we do have a lot of potential here in our companies, in the muscle, the financial muscle in the companies you have in the region to be able to significantly contribute to this. And these are the guys we are looking at. I'm calling on you as a beneficiary. If you produce any water or any drink, just know that your water sources that are produced by the forests are at risk in the next few years. And so it's in your interest to sustain the production of water. And the best way to do that is to invest in sustaining these forest resources. That's one example.
Yeah.
And that's our message. So this is a big event that we're hosting here. Global media is there and everybody's there. We have a couple of 100 participants, but we are going to end it on day 3 with a Zamba Heritage Nairobi Declaration, where the countries say, this is our commitment, and we take this commitment forward to action, fast action to ensure that we have our forest resources protected and increased rather than being depleted.
All right. Yeah. Looking forward to that. Yeah. I think it's a beautiful place to start in collaboration with everything else that KFS is doing. And something that Dr. Kojwang also mentioned earlier about countries in the South and how communities are at the heart of, collaborating with government and all of that. And I don't know what Dr. Ngoriareng would probably highlight on what practical ways as citizens we can be part of this amazing journey to 15 billion trees, as you give us your parting shot, and then we'll get a parting shot from Dr. Kojwang as well.
Practical steps. Yeah, one, that direct participation.
Yes.
In planting. Do the planting.
Yes.
Do the planting.
Okay.
Number two, help us make sure that we protect what we already have from any illegal activity. Okay, from any exploitation that is illegal. So you make sure that you also provide policing to any of our forest blocks, wherever they are, work together with us, as long as also making sure that you also do your forest. Okay, make sure that you have your forest in place so that we reduce the pressure of coming to the forest that we manage even as a government, which we are managing for the benefit of all of us.
Absolutely.
So those are some of the practical things that we do. Yes. And just to affirm that we have a reward system. We began an ACT award, Africa Champion of Trees Award, last year, but we didn't finalize, but we are looking to finalize it this year to reward anyone that has done very well in terms of tree growing.
Okay. I'm signing up for that. And your final and parting shot, probably word of wisdom, call to action.
I just want to say that forests are renewable resources. We can responsibly grow them or protect them and use them sustainably. So to the extent that we want to use them, let's renew the resource. And I also want to say that the motto for FSC is forests for all, forever. That's an important point to make. And I remember in one of my earlier portfolios, we wanted to promote tree planting. And we said, whichever political party you belong to,
yes,
choose trees anytime it is good for everybody. And it was a wonderful message to the country that trees help all of us. And to thank the government of Kenya, who is hosting the Zamba Heritage Congress next week.
Yeah.
We are proud to be here. The regional office is going to be here. So let's put pressure on FSC to work more closely with the government and support the people, the government and the people of Kenya. I think that's an important message. And we are doing this not just in Kenya, but for sub-Saharan Africa. And it's a privilege to have this regional office in Nairobi and to have the inaugural Zamba Congress
happening
in Nairobi.
Yeah, no. I think it's a big deal.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I really want to thank you all for coming in today and having this conversation. And special thanks from KFS for enlightening us on what is actually happening on ground. Now you know. I'm looking forward to signing up and winning someone. I don't know what that is. What will I be winning? We'll find out once you finalize, right? Asante sana, Dr. Lele. Thank you so much, Dr. Ngoriareng. Thank you, Dr. Kojwang. That is all we had for you today. If you're not going to do anything, just plant. And there's more than that. Plant and take care of it. Make sure the tree gets to maturity. Let's all be responsible with that. Forest for all, forever. That's all we had for you today. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Adios.